this was going to be a performance, whether we win or lost, that we could hang our hat on, that we could say, all right, now we're turning the corner. Now we're in a big game. We know what that's going to take, and we're going to do everything we can to put it on our terms. So not in our wildest dreams would we have predicted 7-0, but I think it was, again, an expression of the belief and the commitment that this team has for each other, and a chance for them to show mostly themselves what we're all about.
Jesse will go front right to Michael Lewis.
Jesse, congratulations. I'm just wondering, did you expect more fight out of NYCFC today?
Well, I think tactically we knew what we were going to get, and we made some adjustments to deal with what they do tactically. I think what Vieira has done this year with the team in terms of the tactics is very unique, and so we had to make a few adjustments to make sure that the way they press from the inside doesn't cost us. And so we created different ways to start to break down their pressure and find advantages in other parts of the field. Now the fight part, it's a question of how much fight did they have versus how much did we have, right? And I think we learned a ton from a week ago in D.C. where we laid a goose egg, and we just felt like we never wanted to do that again. So, I think a lot of it had to do with our ability to step on the field and really know what it meant to go after it.
Jesse, we'll go to your left first to Jonathan and then to Franco.
Jesse, what was the importance to you of continuing to push in that game and ultimately scoring that many goals?
Well, we didn't, we never want to, we always want to play at our optimum. One of the things that was great is the 3 subs that we put on the field, I thought helped the game and then ultimately wound up getting goals. It's been a weird year. We haven't been able to show our quality at a lot of moments, and we haven't played at our best. But the whole time that we were going through our struggles, our whole emphasis was, when we get out of this, we're going to be better. We're going to be better. We're going to be better. So that's been the focus. That's been the concentration. And I think that, again, after coming off a good year, there's some built-in overconfidence and complacency. But now with the tough start, it's knocked some of that out, and we've tried to build back in all the little details and the work ethic to get us back to what we think we can be.
Franco.
Jesse, how important was the first goal in order to set the tone today? And why did you guys have so much success on set pieces? I think 3 or 4 of your goals came off of corner kicks.
Yeah, no, those 4 goals, I think. We were very effective on set pieces. Aurelian helps us in that area. Even though he didn't score, he's such a handful. And when we're looking to find him in some of these moments, it also means that that he draws a lot of attention, and it opens up things for obviously Dax. And Dax is actually, over the 2 years I've been here, has been the most dangerous guy in the box on headers and on set pieces. So we made an emphasis. It's funny, we built in a lot of little short stuff that we were thinking about using, and the guys on the field halfway through the first half said, no more short stuff. We're going straight in the box, and they could smell that was dangerous. So that was good.
Jesse, we'll go your far right.
Congratulations for the win, Coach. How happy are you to see Alex and Berong scoring?
Starting with Alex Mule, he has earned the respect of his teammates at the highest level. He comes and works every day. When he steps on the field, he gives everything he has. For a young guy, they've grown to love him and love what he puts into it. So it's been easy for me as a coach to make decisions to put him on the field because he's earned everybody's respect. And then Gonzalo, we've had a tough start with him in terms of injuries and whatnot, but we know he's an important guy, and he can be so dangerous and can be effective in so many different spots. So I think for him to get a goal was really important to get him going, and now see if we can really jumpstart his season.
Jesse, we'll go halfway back to Eric and then to Dave.
Jesse, these derbies typically bring out the best in both sides of the fans, but what did you think of the traveling support today?
Awesome. The red during the national anthem, awesome. I think that the fans will be able to tell their kids that they were at this game, or tell their kids, or whatever you want to be. And so, again, they've been by our side. A lot of them have been sending me texts in that games. They've been by my side when we were 1-6, when they could have easily been booing me and telling me to get out of town. And they've been by this team's side as well. So, they've earned this. They've earned an opportunity to celebrate. They've stuck with this team all year and continue to believe. And that's been an emphasis on the inside. And so, as much as it's a validation for our team, I think it's an expression also for our fans.
Jesse, you mentioned the lack of motivation against DC, and you contrast that to what we saw today. Is it safe to say NYCFC is now the true #1 rival of the New York Red Bulls?
Well, I think it makes life a little bit difficult being a Red Bull fan, player, coach, because you feel like almost every team in the Eastern Conference is becoming a rival, right? So there's lots of talks about DC and New York, but Philly, games against New England, games against Orlando, games against Columbus, games against Montreal, they all feel like there's some sort of history and rivalry and an edge to them. But you know what? As hard as it makes those games, it makes us better. Like we were better for the experience we went through last Friday. It made us better today. And so the more experiences that we have like this, the better team we're going to be. So I look at it as a real benefit. And there's a discrepancy right now between the West and the East, but I'll tell you, games in the East are like battles. They're absolute physical battles. And so there might be some good players and good teams in the West, but there's no love lost here for rivalries in the East.
We'll go to Ivis and then Stefan.
Congrats, Jason. I'm Jesse. Sorry. 2 games.
What did you call me?
I called you Jason.
Okay.
Sorry.
Jason.
Jesse.
Jason.
10 goals. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I didn't know if you were thinking Christ.
10 goals in 2 games here in the last few years. Obviously, part of that is getting up to the rivalry, but is there something about playing here, the small field, the way you guys press, kind of feeds into what you guys do? Is it a comfort zone there for you guys?
Yeah, I think it feeds. Yeah, I do think it plays into our strengths. And then that, again, with the part that I just talked about combining in the mentality of what big games are. So, we've taken a lot of pride on this whole series, and it's meant a lot to our team and our fans. But yeah, for sure, playing here, I think on the smaller field. I mean, even yesterday we mapped out on our training fields the size of this field here, and it's incredible how small it feels, and you have to adapt. But I know that with the way that we run and the speed at which we play and the way that we press, we're always excited to come here because we feel like it's a chance to still do the things that we do at an effective rate. No, it's worth considering, but that Red Bull Arena is amazing. Amazing.
Coach, you mentioned some of the adjustments you had to make to Vieira and some of the things he was doing. Can you expand on that a little bit? And what are some of the things you did differently and obviously successfully?
Well, I don't want to give away too much because we've got 2 more games against them, and I think they'll make adjustments for when they play against us next time as well. But for sure, with our press, we knew when they want to play out of the back that there were certain things that we could do to now negate some of the buildup that they have. And then, when they start to press from certain areas, we felt like by personnel and by location of certain players that there were areas that we could exploit. I'll put it that way.
We'll take 2 more here in the corner and then right behind.
Bradley has 6 goals in 4 games against City. I want to ask you what you think accounts for his success against the rivals.
I would probably put it more toward just being a big game player. And I think a lot of it has come down, the more that we can command the game, the more that Bradley's going to be involved, and then the more he's going to be around the goal. But at this point, I think he's taken a lot of pride in these games, and he wants to be the difference maker. And even when he scored the first goal ever in the series, I knew that meant a lot to him. So I expect him to continue to have big games in this series in the future.
Say your last question here in the front.
Jesse, you talked about it being absolute physical battles in the Eastern Conference, and in that first half, it was very chippy. Going into halftime, what was the message to your guys, and what did you learn from your guys that they were able to keep their foot on the pedal the entire time?
Well, we talked about not being complacent, okay, and we knew that the first 15 minutes of the half was important, but we didn't want to sit on the 3-goal lead. We felt like they were going to have to take more chances and that we could expand on our own lead. The physical part, how McNamara doesn't get a red card, I have no idea, and especially with everything they're trying to cut out in this league. But the refs haven't helped us at all this year, and that's whatever. You can take that for whatever it's worth. But we know that the biggest games require a physical commitment, but also a concentration and a focus to do the things that we want to do and be who we want to be. So, when we get that balance right, then we can have games that look like tonight or today. So, that's ultimately the goal, especially in big games.
Thanks, Jesse.